Hi, my name is Jenny and I'm a customer service rep at Workforce Development in Austin, Minnesota. Today I'm going to give you some quick tips on interviewing. We're going to talk about preparation for the interview, some rules and guidelines, the questions behind the questions, and how you follow up after that interview. So to prepare, make sure you learn about the company, the industry, and the position you're applying for. So it's really important, Google is your friend in this case, that you take a look at what the company stands for and what the culture is about. You also want to make sure you take a really good look at that job description because you're going to want to use some of those key words in the job description in the answers to the interview questions that you're asked. Make sure you arrive at least 15 minutes early and dress appropriately. Be professional and polite to everyone that you encounter from the time you walk into the building to the time you leave the building. You never know who is who in a building, and you want to make sure that you are respectful to everyone you encounter. Bring extra copies of your resume. It's nice to have a portfolio or a folder that you keep those in along with any certificates, and make sure that you're also bringing a notebook to take some notes if you feel. So just some other rules. Make sure that you're friendly and professional, like I talked about before, but especially during the entire interview. Accept that glass of coffee or water just in case. You never know when you're going to get that little tickle in your throat, and you want to make sure you're not caught off guard. Listen carefully to the questions that are asked. So listen to the questions, but do not interrupt when they're asking them. You may have a question that you need to ask as well, but make sure you wait until they're entirely done with that question before you start talking. Again, think about that job description that you looked at before you went. There's going to be keywords in there: team player, friendly, professional. Make sure you're using those in your answers. And then have some answers to some standard questions already ready in your mind. You can typically count on a few questions that are always going to be asked no matter what you're interviewing for. And then question behind the question. So what this means is think about when they ask you a question, what they want to know about you per that job description that you looked at. And make sure you're trying to give as specific answers to that question as possible. So you don't want to say, in that scenario, I think this is what I do. You want to use a STAR technique. So you want to think about a situation, the task, the action that you took, and the result. So in that situation, this is what I did, and this was the result. Ask for clarification if you don't understand a question. It's okay to pause. It's okay to think about the answer. You don't need to just blurt out the first thing that comes to your head. You are okay to pause, to ask another question, to clarify, and to take some time to answer those questions. And then make sure you follow up. So write an email, a letter, a note, thanking your interviewer. Make sure you express interest in taking those next steps. And if you've thought of anything you need to clarify, certainly ask it at that time, and any other additional questions that you might have. So to summarize, we talked about preparation, we talked about rules and guidelines, we talked about that question behind the question, and we also talked about follow-up. So with those points, make sure that you contact the nearest workforce development office that's listed on this slide, and we would be happy to help you out with your future and helping you get ready for those interviews. Thank you.